Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at decision making in our programs or application, and to do so we're going to be using selectors or selections. Basically selectors, it's not even it's a selector, I guess, but it's more the way to make decisions or way to control the flow of our program and kind of make the program make choices that are given to us. Okay, so what we have here available for us, the very first one I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go slow with this because there's kind of there's a basic way of using it, there's an advanced way of using it, there's a couple different ways of going about using this. Okay, so first thing we want to do is let's get some input from the user, and we've talked about the scanner object. We'll bring this in again though. We're going to bring a file into our file, so we must import it. So we'll come up here. You have to come up above your public class, and we'll type import, type java.util.scanner. We'll hit enter here, we got it. Close that off. Now we come down into our program and we will just create a scanner to use. Okay, so we need to get it into our program, and we do that by declaring the scanner. We give it a name, let's say input, make it equal to new scanner, and we will call it, or we will put the system.in inside of the parentheses. It takes one value. Okay, so we'll set up a couple variables, even just one variable at this point. Oh, I need the comments. Variables. Okay, we'll just make it an integer, just in case the input we get is really excessively high. Just keep it easy to go. We'll just call it number, and we'll make it equal to 0 for now. All right, we'll just declare the variable and initialize it to 0. So now maybe we're making a program, and what we can kind of do here is we'll build upon building up a program where the user is inputting the mark they get from school, and we'll let them know if they passed. Okay, and we'll build it up that way. At first it's going to be just where they pass or fail, and then from here we'll go on to actually printing out a letter grade maybe, or something like that. So very simplistically, when we want to do something like this, we'll take in our input, so we get a value, system.out.print line, and actually in this form we could really use a byte here, because normally your test averages are going to be within 0 to 100. So as long as we can keep that, your testing definitely, you might get maybe over a couple points from bonus points, stuff like that maybe, but for the most part it's just going to be from 0 to 100, and that's what we say as our test. Okay, so enter your overall grade. Say maybe they give you an 80. You got an 80 as an overall grade for your school. Okay, enter your overall grade, and we'll just take that, we'll store that into our number byte variable. Okay, so we'll just go input dot next byte. All right, so now we've given a prompt, we've gotten a number off the user. It's pretty straightforward. We've worked through this before, that's why I'm kind of just working through it and going a little quicker. Now I'll slow down a bit and kind of get to the meat of this topic here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that number that we checked it upon, and we're going to tell whether or not you're passing or failing. Okay, and we've learned about comparison operators, we've learned about Boolean operators by now. Let's get them into use, and we can use them with this if statement. Okay, the if statement works that you started off with the word if, you put these parentheses opening and closing, and then you use the opening and closing curly brackets to create a block. Okay, and the if is going to take a condition inside of it here. You might even tell me that. No. And those conditional operators that we were using before, so for this one we're going to take the number that the user give us, and we're going to see if it is indeed greater than 50. Okay, if the number is greater than 50, then that, you know, the person is actually passing their class. So we'll just say system.out.print, and we'll go a print line here, and actually take the line out of there. I kind of misspelled that one. So now we'll say you are just passing, right? You're just passing. I mean, we're not technically even telling them that much of it, right? So that's an if statement, and that's technically how that would work. Okay, let's just run this up, see what we get here. My grade is 60. You're just passing. Every single time it's saying that I'm just passing. That's kind of, you know, if it's greater than 50, we should be just passing. So you are, let's just say you are passing. All right. Now there's something we can do here. There's a couple little things you got available to you. There is the form of the if statement here, and I'll walk you through this really quickly to kind of better understand what's going on. When we get here, you've been here, we get the number, we store it here. When you come down to the if statement, it starts it looks at the leftmost value, and it compares it to this one, okay? And given the comparison operator that's here, we'll determine whether it comes out as a true or a false, as we did in previous videos. So now we have this number. Is this number greater than 50? This would be, given the number said 60 when I put it in, that would be true. So now it'll jump inside of this block of code here, inside these parentheses, and perform anything. Performs if true, okay? So we'll perform it only if it's true though. It will not perform this block of code if this is false, so I will show you that really quickly. So now if we type in, 40, it doesn't do anything. We don't get a printout at all. That's kind of a bummer for a program, not to really give us a, we should at least have a fail. One way you could go about doing this is you could type in another if statement, and you could, put, okay, this number is less than 50, then you can print out you're failing. Okay, now there's nothing really wrong with this. It technically could work. There is also an alternative that we have available to us. So when the program up here doesn't, when it does not return true, we have this other term that we can put down here, and it's called the else statement. Okay, and now that will actually perform when our condition is false. Okay, and that's the basic of it. Your basic standard if else statement pretty much works that way. You are failing now. Okay, so if it's not greater than 50, and truthfully 50 in some cases, in some classes, I'm not really sure anymore. It could be you could have to have 65 depending on the course you're in, things like that. But normally we'll just say 50s are base failing, and 50 would be an actual passing mark, so we can put the greater than or equal to. So in the case that we do have this number as exactly 50, it will put that out there, and I'll just show you like what happens here. Say if you're you're right at 50 and you don't put that value there, we'll just type in 50 and I'll show you what's going on. You are failing. What? What is going on? The last time I checked, 50 was a pass. So we have to put the equal sign there, and that would actually then, it's now saying, is it greater than or is it equal to? It does actually work that way. Okay, so if we typed in 50 now, you are passing. Okay, so that's kind of the very basics of the if statement. Now, we talked about the Boolean operators as well, so we can come in here and we can say and we can use these now as well. Say number is less than or equal to 100. That gives you more of a range to work through. Won't put us over, if it's over 100, then it's going to not work this way as well, which in this logic now is kind of changed quite a bit, because say if you did get a bonus 5 marks and you had 105%, you type that in, you're failing. What are you even doing, dude? I'm an honorable student, right? So our logic kind of needs to change here to work in that factor, right? So what we can do now is the else, the if, the else, they actually can keep going in case that you need to keep going through it. And you can do that by putting the else if, okay? And that needs now to have a condition as well. If you're going to type this if after the else, it goes, if and else if, and you can continue this along the way. So now, if we're going to get into this here, let's get into actually creating, say, from if it's greater than 90 and it's less than 100, you are passing with an A plus, right? Don't get me 100% on, if you want to make it all 100%, then you go right ahead and do that, but I'm just going very basically. So we can put this one in here. Now we can go to, this one's an equal up here, so to put it as to an equal down here, we don't necessarily need the equal anymore. So let's go actually 80 to 90, so it's less than or equal to 90. We'll just remove that one, because if it's equal to, we're going to be printing this out, right? And if it is now equal to, we don't need to print out the second version. So we'll go here, we'll say, maybe this is now an A without the A plus. You come down, we can now copy this piece of code. Actually, we'll just type it out, it just makes it easier. If, and again, we can keep on moving down with this. We can just copy this piece here and just kind of change our values as we walk down it. So 70 to an 80 is a B, and we can tweak this more as we go with a B. And we can just copy the whole thing now. Go down here, 60 to 70 is going to be a C. And we can go here, do this again. We'll go 50 to a 60 is now a D. Okay, and then we can now take this and say else you're failing. Now again, this is kind of not really performing the logic that we were working with up here, but it's just kind of giving us a little more functionality in our program, and we got to really delete that because it's no longer doing that. So say you are failing. Okay, so now I'll walk you through this really quickly. Now in this case, it's going to get the number from the user, right? And it's going to come down, it's going to say number if it's greater than 90, and it is within the range of less than 100, then you are going to be an A plus student. Now if you are greater than 80 and you're less than 90, you are a student. If you are greater than, so as we go through, you can kind of see the logic, how it's kind of going, and we have multiple choices now that are being displayed here. So let's just run the program. We'll kind of show you what's happening here. And as long as we stay within range of 50 to, or within 100, so if we said we were a 65, you're passing with a C. Okay. We have to keep running the program at this point. We can't just keep checking our grade. You got an 87. Oh, you got an A. Okay. Now close the wrong program. Get that open again. Okay. Oh, so small. That's what she said. Well, anyways, so you kind of see what's happening here with the different logics, and how the else, the if, the else, and then down here, that's kind of, the else would almost be your default. But again, I want to show you this too. Now if we go below, we said we got a 49. You are failing. Okay, so that's not that great. But the one thing that we're now kind of seeing is that, again, if we did the 105, we're still failing. So our program still doesn't have the full logic that needs to be past the 100, because the else is, we're using it in this form to be a default value. So what we can do here now is we'll just add one more, and we can just go with the if and just say, you know, number is less than 49 this point, then that's going to do anything under here. We'll do also, and we'll put it, and it's greater than 0. So as long as it's greater than 0, then we'll print out you are failing. You know, pull up your boots, right? So you are failing at this point. And then for the else, we could, you go into anything higher or above. We could also, again, I guess we still haven't actually went into the logic of this to kind of, you know, take on the higher value. We're going to just, we'll type in here system.out.println error value out of range. Okay, so that's one way of kind of dealing with that, and not necessarily, you know, because we're not, maybe our program values were supposed to, they're within parameters that we were given. This is the way it was supposed to be written. So if they, you know, type in 105, then out of, you know, value out of range. So it's not giving you truly a failing grade, right? But it's just saying, you know, our program wasn't suited to do that, and this is how we dealt with it. Again, it's not, you could write it in there as well. It's not like it's the end of the world here. You can, you know, just quickly, if we were to take this, just go see, we'll see Control V that, push space in there. Now we can actually deal with the fact that if it is greater than, say, 100, and we know the byte cannot go past 127, so we can say, and it is less than 127, you are over and above. Okay, so very quickly we can see that we can quickly make a program that, you know, this is just for an overall grade system. And now if we tick in the 105, down here, now you are over and above, right? So we kind of address that now, and anything over 127 will actually kill your program. So we're not really testing for we're not really taking in the fact that if the user does give us garbage data, it's going to pop out a garbage answer for us. So garbage in is garbage out when it comes to programming. So just be careful with that, and, you know, pick values that are, sometimes people just go, you know, with a short here just to be safe, because somebody's not going to get like 32,000 on any grade. You know, you're going to be well within a range of values. So and again, so another one would be, like, if you're extremely failing, or like your attendance was bad and you didn't do anything right all year and you got a negative 52, well, your value's outside of the range. Okay, so we're kind of taking care of everything. We did a little kind of error proofing a bit, and that's pretty much, you know, an if statement built up, an if else statement. As easy as I can kind of put it together for you. It should be pretty straightforward. You kind of can see a quick walkthrough. You know, we created a scanner here. We first had to, you know, import the scanner, and we built the scanner. You know, we had a variable that was declared called number. It's a byte because we know it's within range of 127, so we can use the byte. We print out to the user to, you know, prompt the user to get some data. We use our scanner tool here to get some data and store it inside of our byte variable. We come down here and we now use the data that was given to us. Here's a number. That's the number that was the user's input. If it's greater than 100 and less than 127, we print out this line here. Else that if it is, you know, the number is greater than 90 and is, you know, less than 100, we'll print out this value here. And again, I'll just keep going. Else if it is, you know, the number is greater than 80 and this is where this is key, the and situation, because if we were to use or in any one of these, if any one of these was to return a true value, it would definitely stop and print out just that version of it. So let's say if we went here and we put the or statement in really quickly, and we can, I'll show you here that it's going to give us something much different. We'll even print out, you know, we'll go to 50 even or something like that. 50, you're passing with a B. Well, no, we're not technically, right? I got 50. So by what we had here with our logic here, it was, you know, greater than or equal to 50. We should be passing with a D, right? But because here it is actually, you know, 50 is less than 80, and that's just, this is a true statement, so it, you know, it prints that right out right away. So that's just, you know, how it works. And because the or statement's here, that's why. If the or statement was here, it would have printed this line. If the or statement was here, it would have printed out wherever the condition returned true. So the and statement is one needed to make sure ranges are you're staying within a range. The or statement has its place as well. We'll get into some more of that later on, but that's pretty much it for this. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas for future videos, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you can get all the newest content. And thanks very much. We'll catch you in the next video.